And it's BBOR, Black Box Online Radio, coming to you from West Virginia at heart and from around the globe. And hello, everybody. Welcome to the return of True Crime Talk Radio in the morning. I am your host, Black Box Ned. And it looks like we have a couple of people here in the chat. We have Charlie Don't Surf. Hey, Charlie, long time. Welcome back to one of the live streams. And we have Jacob White here, who says, greetings from Ohio. Now, as many of you know, True Crime Talk Radio in the morning is a segment that I used to do every Tuesday and Thursday, but there was a brief hiatus over the last 3 or 4 months. I was unable to put out regular content like this, but Black Box Online Radio is back in full swing. So it is really nice to be in touch with you guys. And this segment will be coming out to you every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the foreseeable future. Of course, there might be a few gaps here and there. Life happens and so on. But if you want to tune in every Thursday for a true crime chat, live discussion, you can show up. And if you want to join the Black Box Online Radio channel membership, you can hit the join button down below, and that will give you the opportunity to get the Tuesday episode of True Crime Talk Radio in the morning coming to you twice a week. And by the way, we have some other people in the chat. Andrew WVA is here. Calpoke. Hey, my people from West Virginia. Calpoke is from West Virginia too. Northern Panhandle. I think you're actually pretty close to Andrew WVA. I'm mostly on the eastern side. I grew up on the eastern side. Let's just say that. Casbah is here saying great day. And everybody, because today is Thursday, you can see the long-awaited return of the fox. Very nice, very nice. Now, as many of you know, I spent part of the year in West Virginia, part of the year in Boston, Massachusetts, and part of the year in the Philippines. And I am actually back in the Philippines right now, always coming to you from West Virginia at heart, but I am broadcasting from Cebu. And I just want to ask you guys, can you hear me all right? Does everything sound okay? Is everything normal on your ends? If there's any issue with the audio, this is the first time doing it in this room. So if there's anything that is a little bit different, just let me know. Sounds fine. Casbah says the weather is great in Boston. I wouldn't know. We're in a much hotter climate in the Philippines. But I wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk to you guys about some of the true crime cases here on Black Box Online Radio. As you know, this is a true crime channel, and I mostly focus on unsolved mysteries, talking to you about the Zodiac Killer, Jack the Ripper, D.B. Cooper, and this weekend will be the launch of the segment about JonBenet Ramsey. And I am so glad that I have more time to focus on the channel now, so I can be putting out regular content and exploring these aspects of the true crime world with you. And you guys, once again, if you want to subscribe to the channel and follow along, all of this stuff is definitely going to be appreciated. By the way, though, some updates. This isn't exactly a true crime news segment, but to those of you who follow the Long Island serial killer case, there's an individual named Rex Heuermann who is waiting trial for multiple murders, multiple homicides, going from 1993 all the way to 2009, I believe, with the murder of Sandra Castillo in 1993 is the first confirmed Long Island serial killer victim now. And then Amber Lynn Costello is the final one that has officially been linked to Rex Heuermann via DNA, but his attorneys are trying to get the DNA evidence thrown out. I'm citing the program Crime Talk for all of this, saying that it may have been obtained unethically, or it's just they're going to do any excuse they can. They're going to find any reason to throw away the DNA evidence, because that is the biggest thing that is connecting their client, Rex Heuermann, to the Long Island serial killer case. Absolutely ridiculous. It's nonsense. And most likely he did it. Most likely he will be convicted. And sometimes you can see this when a defense attorney is actually composing a brilliant argument. Or sometimes you can see this when a defense attorney is actually coming up with something that is somewhat of a reasonable defense. Or you also have people like Jose Baez, who was the defense attorney in the Casey Anthony trial, who played the whole game of if you can't convince, then you can confuse. But you can also tell when defense attorneys are floundering, when they're like, holy crap, I'm going to lose this case. I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to say a bunch of really weird stuff and hope for the best. And that's what I think is happening with the Long Island serial killer case about trying to get the DNA thrown out. And as I understand, though, they would have had every right to claim his DNA because it was from a pizza crust, actually. He was eating pizza. He left the crust behind, put it in a box, and threw the box in the trash. And this is also something that comes up very frequently in the true crime world because people are like, well, how can they get somebody's DNA without a warrant? If somebody has thrown something into the trash, it is no longer their property. They have discarded it, and they no longer have a legal claim to it to say that you have violated my boundaries or something to that effect. But I think that there is just an absolute floundering that's going on from the defense attorneys. Now, if you want to talk about DNA in the true crime world, there's another very high profile trial that's going to be happening in the year 2025, and that is going to be from Brian Koberger. Brian Koberger is accused of 4 murders, the Idaho quadruple homicide, and this is a story that has just taken the news by storm, and it's kind of so questionable as to why this story becomes so popular compared to other ones out there. But in terms of the Koberger case, one of the defenses that they were actually trying to talk about is an alibi defense to try and get somebody to verify an alibi for Brian Koberger. And I'm citing Crime Talk for all of this. I start my days with Crime Talk, and that's the way I like to live. And I think the Fox would agree. You guys have no idea how much true crime content the Fox watches, how much the two of us just kind of sit in front of the television watching true crime together. See, the Fox is always paying attention, and the Fox never blinks. The Fox never blinks. But as far as the Koberger case, on Crime Talk, the host, Scott Reich, who's a practicing defense attorney, stated that never once in 30 years of practicing law has an alibi witness at trial ever been successful in his work. Has someone been able to take the stand and been like, yes, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help my God? Yeah, this person wasn't at the scene of the crime at the time because they were doing something else. Never once has that ever worked in a trial. The alibi defense works before the trial. Say, for example, like if you're accused of a murder, no matter whom you are, I know you're a good person, but hypothetically, if you were accused of a murder and I come forward and I'm going to be like, no, there's no possible way that that person committed the murder. I mean, they were listening to True Crime Talk Radio in the morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 6th of 2025. They couldn't possibly have done it because they were in my live chat, and I can provide that evidence. And then they're going to say, all right, well, that this person clearly didn't do it. That's just a very, very, very made up on the spot example. But again, if someone could actually provide sufficient evidence to show that this person did not commit the crime or that they were not at the location, they were not at the scene of the crime, then it doesn't even go to trial. So most likely Brian Koberger is going to be convicted. And we have Quentin Broom here, someone who has joined the channel membership. Quentin, you get a cheers from the Fox. All right, everybody's saying that they can hear me all right. That is very nice. And Robin had an issue with the sound for a little bit. And that's also back to normal now. Yes, but Quentin joined the channel membership, and that will give you access to the Tuesday episode of True Crime Talk Radio in the morning. And also 2 other segments come out with the channel membership. There is the Cooper Profile, which is talking all about D.B. Cooper, and the Double Event talking about Jack the Ripper. And those episodes will come out on Wednesdays and Fridays. Ripper Wednesday and Cooper